We come to another session of Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam, and to be honest with you, he's a prophet full of lot of love of Allah Azza wa Jal. You know, the ones that he loved the most, he mentioned the most. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the most beloved in front of Allah, so he gets the most mention in the Quran. Musa alayhi salam also gets quite a lot of mention, but Ibrahim alayhi salam is one of those gets quite a lot of mention in the Quran as well. And each time Allah mentions him, and the Quran is so beautiful, it reveals things that you think, subhanallah, you know, how Allah put that word there, that particular word, and how he described that character with that word and this character with that word. So let me give you an example. In Surah Safat, 37th Surah, ayah number 101, Allah Azza wa Jal is talking about the time when he gave Ibrahim alayhi salam the good news of receiving a child. And then in ayah number 112 of the same surah, Allah Azza wa Jal gives him the good news of Ishaq alayhi salam, that he's going to receive Ishaq. Now Ismail alayhi salam was born before Ishaq alayhi salam. And when he gets the news of Ismail alayhi salam being born, Allah Azza wa Jalla in ayah number 101 of Surah Safat, he says, فَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ حَلِيمٍ. I gave him the good news of receiving a child that will be a child forbearant, a tolerant child. Now that's the quality that Allah says about Ismail alayhi salam. But when he talks about Ishaq alayhi salam in another part of the Quran, when they actually arrived, the angels arrived to give the good news, and we're going to discuss that today, when they came to give the good news to Ibrahim alayhi salam and his wife, and the conversation they had between them. Now, if you go to the end of the 26th juz, the beginning of the 27th juz, right at the end of the 26th juz, Allah Azza wa Jal, he talks about Ibrahim alayhi salam there. And what he says is, he says there, وَبَشَّرُوهُ بِغُلَامٍ عَلِيمٍ. This is ayah number 28 of surah number 51. He says, وَبَشَّرُوهُ بِغُلَامٍ عَلِيمٍ. The angels gave the good news of a child that is going to be a knowledgeable child. So Ishaq alayhi salam, Allah said knowledgeable. Ismail alayhi salam, Allah said forbearant, and someone who is tolerant. What do we learn from this? Well, again, subhanAllah, you look, Ismail alayhi salam is that individual who stays in Makkah, who grows up in Makkah, his children are in Makkah, and his children's children are in Makkah, and they carry on, and his progeny starts until Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is born. Okay. Now, Ishaq alayhi salam, he stays in sort of Iraq or around Palestine or around that sort of area. And later on, from his progeny are most of the prophets. And the Banu Israel, the children of Ishaq alayhi salam, or what we know as some of the Jews today, they are from the seed of Ishaq alayhi salam through Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now Ibrahim alayhi salam had two qualities inside him. And this is amazing, because what Allah does is that He gives you a set of genes, and then from your genes, or from your father's genes, or from your grandparents' genes, He'll give some of that to one child, He'll give some others to another child, and He'll give some others to another child. So sometimes you find a father who is strong, who's very strong, who might have a temper, who might also be very he might be strong, he might have a temper at times, but the father might also be someone who's really jolly to get to know. He's sometimes got a very good laughing mood. He's got a good sense of humor, right? And he might also be a thoughtful person. You might get a father like this with all four qualities. And then you see he has four sons. Yep. One son ends up taking his temper. Yeah, as in he's got it more inside him. Another one has the sense of humor. Another one has got, who's probably, got that thing of being strong. Another one is the one that is thoughtful. And his genes, they sort of, manifest in different children in different ways. And you can see this in families. Allah Azza wa Jal does that. With Ibrahim alayhi salam, he had two qualities, amongst many different qualities. He was a very knowledgeable individual, and he also was forbearant. He was one who would think a lot before he did or said something. And he was an individual who was one who, if something happened, he would be a person who would, like you got some people who start to speak about their troubles and their ills and whatever else is happening. And there's some people who don't speak, who've got it all in there, who are internalizing it, but they process it, and they're strong, and they manage to overcome their ills and troubles by just processing it in their mind. That was Ibrahim alayhi salam. And I'll tell you another thing. You think, does anyone here know anyone whose name is Ibrahim? Put your hands up. Good. Keep your hands up if you know more than one individual who's Ibrahim. Good. I like that. I know quite a few. And tell me this, those of you who put your hands up, is it true or not true that the Ibrahims that you know have these qualities that I've just said? Put your hands up. That they're intelligent people. Put your hands up. That they're strong people and strong-minded people. Put your hands up. Yes? Good. And put your hands up if you think that they're not the type to just come and tell you all the trouble straight away. Put your hands up. Go on. Right. Anyone disagree with me with any of these qualities? Put your hands up. Wow. Look at that. Wow. That is amazing. There's all of you. I think the amount of hands that went up was probably about 11 or 12 hands. Some of you kept your hands, 7 or 8 of you knew more than one Ibrahim, and none of you disagree with me. And this is the lesson, which is when you name a child, see, most parents, they want to name a child, they're going to name it because of something that they like to hear. They say like, oh, I like the name Sulaiman, I want to keep his name Sulaiman. Or I like the name something like, I don't know what it might be. It might be, the common names. Sometimes people move away from them. They look for odd names, whatever they want to, they're like, oh, something that's simple on their tongue. I like the name, I don't know, Shunumia. So I'm going to just call him Shunu, because it's really easy for me to say. It's 2 syllables, Shunumia, and that's 2 syllables again. So it's really easy for me to say it, right? But when people come to me and say, what name, Shaykh, my wife's giving birth to a child, can you choose a name for us? Or which, do you like these names that I'm going to say? Or give me a name. Most of them say, give us a name. So what I normally say is, I say, what do you want in the child? That's what I ask. And they're a bit shocked. Think, what do you mean what we want in the child? The child's a child. I said, no. What qualities do you want in the child? Are you looking for a strong one? Are you looking for one that's more tolerant? Are you looking for one that's more, intelligent? Are you looking for one that's got this quality, that quality? Because you can't get all qualities. You can't choose one name and it's like the super baby, Superman. Right? You can't do that. You've got to, each name has got certain qualities, good qualities, and they might have some weaknesses inside them. And you've got to know that. So, if you do the way we just looked at Ibrahim alayhi salam, tell me this here. Do you guys know of someone's name who's Ismail? Put your hands up. Ismail. Put your hands up if you know a name called Ismail. Come on, put your hands up. Good, that's quite a few. That's about at least a dozen. Those of you who know more than one Ismail, put your hands up. It's good, that's about a good 4 or 5 of you, 6 of you. Yeah. Now tell me, is Ismail, the Ismail you know, are they people who are tolerant, forbearant? Are they people who rather take the pressure on them and do things to please people? Yes or no, tell me. Yes? Put your hands up. Anyone disagree with me? Put your hands up. Look at that. Okay. No disagreement. In fact, one of my brother's name is Ismail. And that's a quality. When you look at in the Quran, what did Allah say? Ayah number 101. He said, I gave Ibrahim alayhi salam the good news of having a forbearing child. Because Ismail alayhi salam, this was his character. He was forbearing. He was an easygoing guy. And all Ismails are going to be easygoing guys. Now, sometimes you might disagree with me and say, no, I know an Ismail who's not that easygoing. Well, you've got to look at his second name and his third name. So if you give an individual just Ismail, it'll be like that. But if you give them strong names, you call him like Umar Ali. You know, Umar was a strong individual. Ali was a strong individual. And you give Ismail, you're going to balance it out. Or if you give Umar Ali, actually, Umar Ali is quite strong because there's two strong names there. And it's going to make him a bit more of a, more tough character. But still with some forbearance, with some tolerance inside it. Why? Because you gave him the name Ismail. And you might sit there thinking, nah, man. You're having a laugh, Shaykh. You know what I'm saying? I'll call him this today, he changed it like this. I'll call him that next day, he changed it like that. You're having a laugh, Shaykh. I'm not having a laugh. I'm telling you a fact. There was a Shaykh in India who, Shaykh Tanvi, rahimahullah, and somebody came to him and said, my child, he's got, he keeps on getting ill. So the Shaykh asked the name, and the name showed that this type of person will have, as in the person who will take illnesses in, or will start to take troubles about them. So the Shaykh said, change his name to Salim. Salim means one who is safe from illnesses and other things. And when the parents change the name, slowly those illnesses disappear. And I'm serious about this. Shuyukh have done this across the world. And you want to test, you want to do a stats, start looking at Muhammad, start looking at Abdullah, start looking at, this name and that name and that name, and start seeing the characters of these people, characteristics of these people, and start seeing what's common between them, and then look at the individual amongst the Sahaba who had the name, or look at amongst the Anbiya who had the name, and you'll see those characters in them as well. Alright? So, for example, Ishaq. Anyone know any Ishaq? Hand up. There's a few of you, because Ishaq is not a common name, so there's about 4 of you. And tell me this, is that Ishaq an intelligent individual, yes or no? Go on. Yes or no? In fact, he'll be a highly intelligent person, yes or no? Tell me. Go on, tell me, yes or no? Hands up. Right. If you disagree with me, hands up. None of you disagree with me. See again? I know a few Ishaqs, they're all highly intelligent. But the other thing is that they're introverts. They're people who like to stay to themselves. And that'll be a quality you find in Ishaqs. They don't say much. When they do talk, they can, they know certain things, with good depth and so on. Oh, they've got high amount of intelligence, but they're not very, very talkative people. Unless, of course, a second name, third name balances things out. That's something different. It's just, you've got to be careful in looking at the different names. So where it gets really interesting is when someone's looking for a wife or a husband. They're looking for qualities and they know the names and the characteristics. And I'm not going to go into that right now, but I'm just giving you a tip to think, wow, that's true. No wonder, my husband's name is Umar. Sounds like, no wonder this is the case. But anyway, I'm going to leave that to you guys to look at later on. But it's amazing what Allah mentioned about them and the qualities these two children had of Ibrahim alayhi salam and the qualities their children had. This is now going beyond the reference of the Quran. Why would Allah mention that in the Quran? Why just say, like the Quran is a book that is, every word has been precisely selected and put in there. Why would Allah, why wouldn't Allah just say, I just gave him the good news of a son, that's it. And the other one, I gave him good news of another son, that's it. No. But why add the quality of Halim and Alim? Why do that? Because he wants to tell us. Now let's look into the history. What happened after Ismail alayhi salam? Look at the people that came in the progeny of Ismail alayhi salam. The Arabs that came along. They are people who've got forbearance and tolerance inside them. They've got forbearance and tolerance inside them. And they're ready, you go to the Arab lands and you want generosity, man, you're going to get generosity. They're very generous people, right? Then you look at Ishaq alayhi salam's children, who a lot of them became who we know as the children of Israel. And you look at their qualities, they're very highly intelligent people. Some of these people who are in you know, in around the Holy Land, who are Jewish people, they've got high intelligence. My friend, they are some of the most sophisticated people in the world today. And look at the father, mentioned in the Quran, Alim, a most knowledgeable child I'm going to give you. And his grandchildren start to take off with his qualities. But what does Allah do? Subhanallah. When Allah mentions Ismail alayhi salam in the Quran, He says straight after that in 102 and 103, is like when Ibrahim is sitting there and saying to his child, he's saying, you know, I've seen a dream that I'm slaughtering you for the sake of Allah. What do you think? And the answer that he says to his father, he says, Ya abati if'al ma tu'mar. Oh my father, just go ahead and just do it. I'll do sabr, inshallah. I'll patience. Yeah? That's what he mentions about Ismail. Now when he mentions Ishaq alayhi salam, he says, I gave him, this is ayah number 112, وَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِإِسْحَاقَ نَبِيًّا مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. I gave him good news of Ishaq as a prophet from the righteous people. وَبَارَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ وَعَلَى إِسْحَاقَ. I gave barakah, blessings to Ibrahim and blessings to Ishaq. وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِهِمَا. And from their progeny, muhsinun, there will be excellent people, وَظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ مُبِينٌ, and outrightly clear, oppressors who will oppress themselves. Allah said two things. From the children of Ishaq, there will be wonderful people. Some of these, Jewish people out there are wonderful Jews out there. And I'm not making this up. Don't dump them all in one, thing and label them. No. Some Jewish people out there are the most wonderful people in the world. But some Jews out there are the most horrible people in the world. And this is ayah number 113 of surah number 37. And again, we've got no hatred against Jews. It's a fact. And you have to face that. And what about us? What about us, the Arabs? But when Ismail just said, Dad, yeah, just go do it. You storm it? Yeah, go do it. That thing of, let's just go. Yeah, let's do it. That's how the Arabs are. The Arabs, they're not people who are planning and sitting there planning and planning and planning. It's like, that's it. That's the Arabs for you. They're like, just go ahead with the flow. That's Ismail in the Quran. Just go ahead with the flow. But the quality of the Arabs is what? That they're such a generous, such a nice people. But if you get on the wrong side of an Arab, and you try and do this with any Ismails you know, and put your hands up if you disagree with me. Ismails, I'm saying, yeah, that you know of, yeah. They're tolerant, they're forbearing, and they won't show you their anger. But it's inside, and it boils up, but they simmer it. They boil up, they simmer it. And one day, it's going to boil, and it's going to come out. And the day Ismails get angry, you don't want to be in front of it. Put your hands up if you agree with me. If you disagree with it, put your hands up. Maybe you don't know him too now. I've got a brother, his name is Ismail. I'm talking from experience. And I've got other Ismails I know. But the Ismails, there's a gentleman here who put his hand up, he's got a brother who's Ismail as well. The day they get angry, it's like, whoa, it's like, just leave them to themselves. So the message here is, my Arab brothers, they're very tolerant. But you get them kicked, you kick them. The day they go, Allah, roh, bisottamat, come on brother, bisottamat. The day they say that, yeah, you better watch out, my friend. Because they then don't want to think what they're going to do. And that's the Arabs. Not all the Arabs, but, the seed of Ismail that went ahead. And we're not saying they're irrational people. We're not saying that. We're saying that there's different qualities in different people. And when you get that amount of intelligence, like what Ishaq alayhi salam's children had, what can you end up doing? You can end up, like the Quran said, you can end up being excellent with your intelligence, or you can end up being corrupted with the intelligence. And both of them are found in the seed of Ishaq alayhi salam. There's some of these Jewish people across the world, they're making technology and they're doing things to the world that the world, together cannot offer enough thanks to them for their favors. But some of them are doing certain things that the world is saying, when will Allah put them 6 foot down? and will Allah get rid of them. That's how some of them are. So anyway, my point here was that our children are going to take over what we have and qualities that we've got inside us. And sometimes you think, right, that, okay, I'm going to name this child this and that child and this child this. The qadr of Allah is the qadr of Allah. End of the day, somehow, the quality you've got just kind of fits your name. You know what I'm saying, that, brother? Yeah, kind of fits your name. So you have that thing that you want to do certain things certain way, but you've got to understand the qadr of Allah and the fate of Allah is also there. Now let's move on. What I wanted to say also with this is the fact that the bushra, or the good news that Allah Azza wa Jalla gives. Now He gave the good news of Ismail alayhi salam after Sarah gifted Hajara to Ibrahim alayhi salam, and he had a child. Now there are narrations that say there was a bit of jealousy and so on, because Sarah, who was the most beautiful, she was really beautiful. She didn't have children, and now she's reaching old age, and she sees that Ibrahim alayhi salam has got a son from the slave girl that she had, and she gave away. And they say, Allahu Alam, that because of the tensions, Ibrahim alayhi salam had to move one wife away to Makkah al-Mukarramah. Now, again, this is a prophet. This is a prophet. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is true that they had really bad bickerings going on. No, we're not saying that. But if it's because of any tensions that might have arisen for one reason or another, the lesson we learn here is, sometimes you have to, it's better that you separate them and you put them in different places if you've got more than one wife. And again, I'm not telling you in a license in the West to go and get more than one wife. You know what I'm saying, now, brother? Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to get this right and that right, and I don't know what else, and they might take me in and start questioning me. Yeah. So I'm just saying, wherever it's allowed, if you have two wives, then it's best that you put one separate. And the more independent you can make that other wife, the better it is for you, right? Sisters at the back there, sisters are listening again. I hope you don't sort of start, I don't know, writing me horrible messages or whatever. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is within the Sharia, you look at it. The lesson here is if they're too close and they've got tensions, then sometimes best to move them apart.